We're probably at least halfway through the phase, and guilds are already putting together a little bit better team compositions to go in and see how quickly they can speedrun through Ulduar as a raid. And today my guild, None of the Above, went in and did 2 runs within about 20 seconds of each other, and we got the world's first sub 1 hour run. And on top of that, the competition is great this phase. A ton of guilds are running and are very close to each other at the top. So today I'm gonna break down for you guys some of the speedrun strategies that you can employ in your raids if your guild wants to go faster, as well as what things you want to watch out for if you are watching some of these speedruns. I'll also at the end give you some options of people to watch from a lot of the top guilds if you want to see these live runs happen in real time, as well as of course if you want to see us continue to beat the world record time and time again, you can always check it out on my channel, but I will give you other options at the end. But we do it every Tuesday 19 CET, which is 10 a.m. PST. All right, so let's dive right in. The first thing you're gonna want if your guild wants to do speedruns, it's not absolutely necessary, but this is the try-hard thing to do, is grab yourselves Swiftness of Zanza. The consumable from level 60 ZG, this is going to actually increase your movement speed by 20%. It counts as a guardian elixir, so if you are using this, you cannot use a flask, but it will be a DPS increase for you on overall damage, not in single target or boss situations. But this can also greatly shorten raid speed clears because movement speed and transit is one of the slowest things that can happen within any raid. Now you probably know that speedruns start on Flame Leviathan's death. This means the timer literally starts counting up the second Flame Leviathan dies. This means the fastest way to start engaging into the next trash pulls is going to be to actually take the teleporter right as the boss dies. You'll see people will mount up or run directly towards the teleporter and instantly TP to start the next trash pull. What you're going to want to do then is going to save you at least 2, maybe 3 minutes of time, but you're going to want to pull all of the trash that you can into Razorscale or Razorscale. It's the same thing. I mix them up all the time. But dealing with these colossuses right here at the beginning of the raid will give you this debuff that jumps between players that you can't drop because you need to get into some water to drop it, right? Don't worry about that. But the key here is that Razorscale's phase 1 is completely time gated. And one of the things you've always want to do in a speedrun is reduce anything you have to do sort of RP wise. If there's ever a time gate, you want to always make sure you're doing something else at the same time, which means there's a hunter pulling all of the trash that will be in between this boss and Ignis. So you can deal with all of this trash early on and kill it while you're waiting for the turrets to actually become available for use to bring the boss down. So this phase usually is really boring and there's very little to do, but one thing you're going to want to watch out for is the Ragers. These are the elemental mobs coming in from Ignis's side. They will cast this flame tornado as you saw, so you want to kill these before you bring down the boss. You don't need to deal with the constructs too early because they won't actually knock you back and reduce your DPS on Razorscale as you bring the boss down. For XT, you don't have to clear out the trash mobs on the sides of the room, the left and right of the boss. Instead, just bring the boss towards the entrance of the room where you see it being tanked right now. This is further away from the exit portal that you would take to move on to the antechamber of Ulduar, but if you do this, it will force the mobs that spawn during his heart phase to come from the back of the room, or I guess the front of the room if you're running directly into the room. This basically means they won't aggro any of the trash packs in the room, and none of that is required by Warcraft logs, and then you can just move forward into the antechamber. The next thing to save time is to have someone open the Algalon door. You can see in the top right of this screen that someone is running past the rest of the group and opening the Algalon door. One more time, this is just RP. It costs you time later on in the raid or whenever you're sitting there waiting for the door to open. And there's no use having every single person here on that trash pack that you just saw us down. After Kologarn, it's nice to fight 4 of these storm keepers themselves. We call them Stevens because you want to kill them even Steven. But as long as none of these enrage, you're totally fine, and it will save you time because you're just going to be cleaving these all down at one time. Even if one of them dies early, with all 4 of them, the rest will enrage. So So definitely split up your DPS, and it's only a little bit of a time save. So if you don't believe in your guild to be able to split this up, don't worry about it too much. But it does make it easier for you to send someone on that mission to go do the Mimiron trash skip, which absolutely every group should be doing. Send someone like a rogue or a holy paladin to go deal with the Mimiron trash skip. It's incredible how much faster the raid can be if you pull this off. Ariaya might be like the hardest boss or the craziest one to watch in a lot of speedruns. It can be very sketchy, and one thing that happened this week is that we lost a full minute, 55 seconds technically, on the split, killing Ariaya. And the reason why is, you'll see in a second, someone got feared so far that they pulled 2 more Stevens during the fight. This is terrifying, and it is something you can completely deal with. You just need to make sure you get your slows out and they don't enrage, and make sure you're rotating things like DSAC or any other raid-wide CD to keep yourselves up. But don't wipe on this boss. This boss loves to truck speedrun guilds. Just take it easy. For Hodir, pay attention to what's happening right now. What you don't want to do is ever stack on top of one of these shaman mobs. I'm going to stop it right here with Wendy's POV, but you see how this little shaman mob is right here? If you get one of the icicles on you and the shaman is casting the Stormcloud buff on you, if he gets knocked during that cast, you're only going to get one of those buffs. So make sure your raid is never stacking on those, because that's probably costing you if you're struggling at all with the hard mode of Hodir. Straight into Thorim, all of the top guilds now are going to be pulling the Ravager and Thunderer pack directly into the trash before you actually kill the boss. Everything is time gated off of the other trash, not these 2 mobs, but you still want to focus your DPS on the Ravager because he can obviously kind of truck your tank. But past that, once you clear the behemoth, even if you have the Ravager or Thunderer alive, you can have the person start channeling to open the gate. This is like a 10-second channel. I don't even know how long exactly it is, but it takes forever. So you'll have time to deal with the rest of the trash, and then you'll open the gate, and this will just save you time instead of standing still by yourselves dealing with that trash pack. The Freya burn strat is something you guys should be looking into using yourselves as well. What most guilds are doing is actually, as you get the second Ancient Conservator, you can see it coming up on the screen right here, everyone is just bloodlusting and DPSing down the boss. Also, you get a 25% DPS increase or damage increase from standing underneath the mushrooms, and make sure you have Mortal Strike on the boss. Once Freya dies, you're no longer afraid of any of her adds, so don't worry about those. You don't even need to cleave or anything like that. All of the damage should be focused on burning the boss. Then, since you've already done the trash skip, everybody should just instantly portal onto Mimiron, and you just use Rocket Bootten to move forward. And also you can use your cloak. It just helps you jump directly into Mimiron's room. Get ready. If someone has normal Rocket Bootten or TBC Rocket Bootten, they can actually boot all the way across, as you can see on the minimap right there, to instantly start the fight. Yogg 0 is a pretty straightforward fight. Make sure you're proccing a lot of these Stormclouds if you want to get through phase 1 really quickly. This is counterintuitive to what most people are used to doing. You're usually dodging the Stormclouds. Well, what you do in a speedrun is actually proc as many as you can, as fast as you can, and use raid CDs so that you don't die, to be able to kill the boss faster. Then the real-time skip on this boss is going to be to 1-phase the brain, which means you're going to want to use Bloodlust in the brain, use all CDs, use Army of the Dead, pump as much damage as you humanly can to the brain of Yogg 0. If you don't 1-phase this, it ends up costing you about a minute plus. You need a ton of DPS to be able to do this, but it is the biggest time save on this boss encounter. Algalon is a pumper boss. You want to destroy him as quickly as possible. Obviously, you're bloodlusting right away, but don't even hold on to Army of the Dead if your guild is now comfortable with getting this boss down. You want to have huge openers and dumpster this boss, to be brutally honest. Make sure that you are not killing a collapsing star directly on the melee. You're usually just going to move away from this. And the strategy that most guilds are using now is to actually bring down multiple collapsing stars while you are inside of the Big Bang. So what you do to do this is Curse of Doom on specific stars. You'll have at least 2 warlocks per star. Make sure they sync their Curse of Doom and use that on the side stars. You can see one in the top corner marked as the triangle up there. And what that will do, again, is just make sure that the Curse of Dooms go off when you run away away and hide in the portal for Big Bang. You can actually kill 3 of these stars this way, and you'll only ever have to defeat 1 more star. Also, if you want to see some of these runs live, then I will have some links in the description, as well as showing up on screen in a second, of when some of the guilds go. None of the above has a ton of people that stream, not only including myself and Take Note, that are a lot of the best players in the entire world at their class. Progress runs on Thursdays right now, but that will always be subject to change because they never like to let everybody know when they're running. So right now it looks like Progress is running on Thursdays at 19 CET. One more time, 10 a.m. PST. Tribe is running on Mondays for those French pumpers if you want to see that, guys. And also shout out to Noobs. They are back and they ran their first speedruns last week. So Noobs, the Chinese guild that is traditionally one of the best guilds in the world, is finally back. They have re-leveled up their characters and all gotten ready for Ulduar speedruns, since they had to completely re-roll when World of Warcraft was removed from the Chinese realms. So they are back in full force. If I didn't mention your guild or streamers from your guild, please just let me know in the comments below. I hopefully will be able to assemble an entire list of when most guilds run and then maybe pin that comment for you guys so everybody can watch as many as they possibly want, and we will be breaking them all down on stream as often as we can live. Good luck to everybody this phase, and hopefully Blizzard gets behind a speedrun tournament or something fun to come before we move on into Trial of the Crusader. So with that being said, I'll see you all on the next one.